Are you losing people? Are you a leader who's worried today about the most important thing is how do you keep your people motivated, you are able to retain them and ensure that there is no burnout? Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anis Merchant, and like you, I'm a leader who keeps thinking about these specific topics on a daily basis. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of thought process has gone in understanding why the burnout or why leaders like you and I are facing retention issues, why people are moving out, what is causing them to move out. And it is something which is very near and dear to me, and I hope to share some of my thoughts and my learnings today, what I have come across. If you take a step back today, the most important and the precious thing which we all have in our organization is not a piece of technology or is not artificial intelligence, it is not the best machinery, it's actually our people's strength. It is the capabilities that they have and they possess and they bring daily to the job really makes or break about things we want to go ahead and deliver to our consumers, to our stakeholders, or to the larger shareholders. But it's becoming a bigger problem. And for me, it's been some time that I've been reading a lot about it and understanding what's changed, what's different in the last 2 years. And is it with a certain set of people? Because today the challenge is not similar. It's not just constant. There are enough conversations about millennials and Gen Zs, but it is not same. I have spoken to somebody a couple of weeks back, and she said she left the job because she wants to write a book, and she has been working for the last 2 decades. So it's not just necessary what is happening here is about ensuring that it's getting and retaining your millennials or your Gen Zs. This issue is across the board. And leaders who fail to recognize that as a problem and do not appreciate that there is a problem in this scenario are going to be the biggest failures in the years to come. And time and again, it has proven in the last 2 years specifically that if people are not there, you'll not be able to run the organization effectively. However, if you really look at the last 4 decades, why things have changed. I've not been working for the last 4 decades, let me tell you. But I've gone back because I have come across generations who've been working far more than what I have been and who have probably retired or have stopped working for a variety of reasons. And I did that analysis of what that evolution of the generations have really led to where we are today and why and where would this lead to and what are the next steps and the actions which we need to take as leaders to do better in retaining and managing people. Or I would not say managing people, having an environment which is conducive for all of us to sustain and build our careers better. One of the most important piece for retention and the issues which many of the leaders are facing today is the point about burnout. And if you dissect the burnout process, or if you really go back, there was a generation called the silent generation. This generation, which is born between 1928 and 1945, they were really cuddled, really pampered. They were given all the benefits. And if you really look at that generation, they stuck to one company. Probably they started in that company and they retired from that company. And they had all the benefits, they had all the right conducive environment to drive things forward. However, our generations which were born between 1946 and 1964, and if you really look at what happened to that generation or what happened during that time and continue to happen for many of those folks till date, is that they saw the weakening of the unions, they saw the weakening of the employee power, which led and affinity towards their managers, towards the company, and leaders becoming a little bit more action oriented or more number driven rather than having the empathy or the focus on people. They were forced to leave jobs. It was okay to have people move from one job to another. The same people also saw that many companies didn't let them continue to their age of retirement because those companies were liable to pay pensions. So they were being let go or were being asked to let go. And that kind of transitioned, or that thought process transitioned into what the next generation happened, is called the Generation X. And Generation X are people or individuals who are born between 1965 and 1980. Somebody like me, we have seen some of the worst scenarios of the entire employment history. When we started off, most of us, when we started off, we didn't have much options, and we saw some wars. We saw two crashes, the dot-com bust, the 2008 burst of the financial industry, which really started impacting us on how we look at companies, how we look at our careers, how we look at individuals, and leaving jobs, moving jobs from one to another, the entire affinity has further reduced. So if you really look at from the silent generation to Generation X, it's the time spent in companies have been reducing, and there have been a lot of external factors. Some have been external, but some have been driven by the company. And these factors have led to people either burning out or leaving companies because the level of trust in those companies or on those leaders have really not survived for a long time. And last but not the least, the generation of today, the millennials or the Gen Zs, they are asking for more. They are looking for social goodness. They are looking for companies to stand more than what they produce or more their service to the customers. And that is a big piece which is letting many of these millennials and Gen Zs to actually leave companies and move to another companies or pursue their own careers. In fact, entrepreneurship, focus on entrepreneurship, focus on being independent is the big piece which most of the millennials or the Gen Zs have started focusing on, and the trend continues. So in these scenarios, now each one of us may not be fortunate enough to manage all these generations, but let's say if you are a leader or if you are a manager who has to think about how do you drive retention and avoid burnout and ensure that you recognize that people are the biggest assets for your company, there are 5 steps which I would recommend, or 5 tips which I would recommend as a leader that you need to be cognizant of, recognize them, and start working on them. The first and the most important piece is confidence and trust. If people lose trust and confidence on you as a leader, that you will do good, you will stand by your word, and you will focus on things which you have committed. And if you can't stay on that, people are not going to remain with you or within your organization. And hence, it is important as a leader to instill that trust and confidence in every team member through your actions, not through your words, which enable them to start believing and start focusing on their work and trusting on your abilities and the vision which you have crafted for the company. Second is to actually recognize and reflect on things which have happened. Every company, every individual may make mistakes and continue to make mistakes every day. It is important for each one of us to recognize and reflect that, hey, that there are certain things which have not gone down well. Can we go ahead and make it better? Can we understand how do our employees or how do people who work for the organization understand about that? And can we take actions and can we focus on those actions so that recognizing the problems and reflecting on them is the most fundamental piece. If companies and leaders cannot do that, nothing else will stand true, and people will leave, and the quiet resignations or the reflection or the entire trends which are happening will continue to happen if companies and leaders are not able to recognize and reflect on issues which are happening within the company. Third, insights or analysis. More importantly, asking people what is working and what is not working. Many of us believe that we know our people better than what they may know, or we understand their problems better than what even a human resource or an outsider will tell you. It is important to get your own employees included in the process of understanding and you letting them tell you what's going wrong, what's not working, what will help them stick around in the company for a long time. And that piece will really help you get a lot of insights, a lot of action, and more importantly, will allow you to draw out plans which can help avoid burnouts and resignations within your own company. Once you have enough insights and you're able to reflect, you need to put those plans in action. If you can't action, which is the fourth area, the things which you have recognized, which people have told you to go ahead and work upon, you have done really bad. So you need to action those steps, those areas which you've been provided feedback on, and take that to the necessary conclusion and provide that feedback and provide that update to the individuals who've given you those tips, so that they understand and they are able to go ahead and recognize that my leader, my manager, my company is standing for me, recognizing the issues which I have, and is focusing on things which matter to me. Last but not the least, you need to lead from front. You can't be just saying things and do not put things in practice. You need to act as a leader. You need to instill trust and confidence. You need to go ahead and drive the reflection process. You need to get insights, act upon them, and more importantly, lead the organization from front to ensure that not only you as an individual is burning out, but even your team is not burning out. I hope today's content is exciting and has provoked certain thoughts in your mind. If you like this content, or if you have a contrary point of view, would love to hear back from you. Please do leave your comments in the comment box or send an email to me, and I'll be happy to connect and discuss further. Take care, stay safe, be blessed.